All right. Very typical of feminism. Listen to this. So, Lori Laughlin. So, for those of you who don't know who Lori Laughlin is, she played that broad who was actually a pretty good looking broad back then on that show Full House that had those two pathetic wussy boy, loser, soy boy, wimpy men, and then Uncle Jesse. It was kind of like a bad boy living there. I don't know why. I don't remember the premise of the show. What was it? You had four girls. So you had the two little twins, and then you had the middle child, and then you had the oldest. And I think they're making some kind of remake now, like Fuller House. Oh, God. I didn't think I could imagine anything worse than the original show Full House, but from what I've seen, this is worse. How's all the little girls all grown up, minus the twins. I guess they died. I don't know. They had to come up with some excuse why the twins aren't there anymore. The Olsen twins didn't want to do it, I guess, because they got such wonderful careers now, right? Yeah, pushing ano products, anorexic. We're anos, and our career is pushing anorexia as a healthy alternative to eating normally. Okay. So yeah, Lori Laughlin was the broad that married Uncle Jesse, who was uncle, I guess, by marriage. I think that the father, who was played by that guy that did that America's Funniest Home Videos, pathetic wimp, beta male pussy boy. Supposedly his wife, him and his wife are the ones that had all those girls, the two twins and the middle child and the older one. And Jesse was the brother of that woman. I don't know. The whole premise was so stupid. I can't imagine anybody watched it, but they did, unfortunately. It managed to stay home for a while. But she was the aunt, and I'll give her this. She's a broad in her 50s. I think she's older than me, even. She looks decent. She's not a bad-looking broad for a broad that's pushing 60, right? And her daughters, well, one of them's hot. Looks like one of them has one arm. I don't know what the fuck this is. I'm looking at a picture here with a one-armed girl beside her. One of her kids has one arm? What the fuck? I don't know. But anyway, she's the broad that was involved in that college admission scandal where she was essentially paying $500,000 to get her kid into university because apparently her kids are dummies. They can't do the same level of work as other kids. Yeah. Well, either that or, they're white. They're white kids too, right? They don't have the... this is so funny. So they're sending her to jail for exercising the only real privilege that she can, which is money. Meanwhile, they got all this affirmative action bullshit that is discriminating against white people and Asian people and essentially letting black kids and brown kids into the school based solely on their skin color. But that's okay. That's okay. Okay. So Lori Laughlin it blames her husband for college admissions disaster. And this is so typical, right? When the chips are down, the man becomes the sacrificial lamb. I didn't do it. It was my husband. He's responsible, right? Amazing. Women want equality, but they don't want to be held responsible when they fuck up. They only want to be held responsible when something goes right. Everything's going good. It was me. It was me. Which it wasn't in most cases. But when things go bad, it was him. It was him. Yeah, it's not me. So Full House star Lori Laughlin is pointing the finger at her husband for ensnaring the couple in the explosive college admissions scandal. Yeah, she's facing jail time, by the way. This genius broad who was offered a deal but turned it down because she thought the prosecutor was bluffing. Yeah, they're not going to send a rich white lady to jail, especially a celebrity. Honey, you ain't been a fucking celebrity for 30 years, okay? Get the fuck out of here. And even when you did that crappy show, you weren't really a celebrity. And it's creating a tidal wave of emotion. A tidal wave of emotion in their previously happy household. The New York Post reports, imagine that. It's pretty easy to be happy when you can toss around $500,000 like it was nothing, right? That doesn't put too much strain on your relationship. When the chips are down, baby, then we see how strong that bond really is. Not too strong, is it, buddy? You're finding out. You're finding out, right? Now you're finding out. You're finding out where where you really are in your relationship, what kind of relationship you really have. It's not a very good one. You know, it's easy to believe that things are great when things are great. Yeah. Laughlin and hubby fashion designer Massimo Giannulli are fighting, and both are fighting with their Instagram influencer daughter, Olivia Jade. The pair are accused of coughing up an eye-watering $500,000. Well, eye-watering for you or me, not for them. To get their daughters, Olivia Jade and Isabella Rose, who apparently has one arm, into the University of Southern California as members of the rowing team. Neither rose. Rowing team? That's a sport? I mean, I know it's a sport in some places, right? But in California, they have a rowing team? In the water, they're like polluted? Like dead bodies floating around people's heads and garbage and trash and shit and raccoons and all. Can you imagine trying to row through that? Fucking A. Fuck. Rowing team. Laurie is constantly arguing with Massimo because she's beginning to grasp that they are in very serious jeopardy. Yeah, so I'm going to try and lay some of the blame off on my hubby so maybe they won't give me as much jail time. Yeah. Because, you know, yeah, there really is a preference towards women in regards to meting out punishment, right? I mean, there's a preference. There's a preference in regards to giving them less jail time. There's a preference towards letting them off the hook, right? And especially if you have somebody else to blame. Boy, oh boy, this guy's in deep shit. I feel sorry for this guy. Wow, she could give a shit about him. Apparently, she gave a shit, when there was no strife, when there was no difficulty. But now that things ain't going too good, you see how important you really are. Ah, good Lord. So sad. Initially, Laughlin appeared to treat the federal charges as a joke, which is typical of a rich broad. But now reality has set in that the pair could face potentially jail sentences of up to 40 years. They are charged with federal wire fraud and money laundering. I don't understand this. What about what Jussie Smollett did? How in the world does this fucking guy, Jussie Smollett, get off? What happened to white privilege? This Laurie Laughlin is white and a woman, but she's facing 40 years in jail. I don't see the prosecutor in this case dropping the charges, right? Let alone all of the charges. But Juicy, well, he bounced the ball around with some homeless orphans for 2 days. We'll let him off the hook. What the fuck? I thought the black people were oppressed. The truth of the matter is that the exact opposite is really the case. She's white. That cancels out her being female. She really has no privilege at all. Meanwhile, a man who's white, double whammy. So, Laurie Laughlin is a -1 for being white, but at the same time, she has a +1 being a woman, so she's got a 0 privilege. In that case. Well, maybe not 0, okay? Because she's a Wayman, right? But in comparison to Jussie Smollett, anyway. Now, Jussie Smollett has triple privilege, baby. So in comparison, he's 3 times more likely to get off. He's gay. He's black. Okay, that's double. All right, so gay and black. Because the being a man isn't privilege anymore. If it ever was. Oh, Juicy! You're going to get off, buddy. He's going to get off. This broad's going to go to jail for 40 years. That's great. That's great. Now Laughlin is said to be freaking out at the likelihood of prison. The couple at first thought prosecutors were bluffing. I don't know why you would think that. And turned down the plea deal accepted by shame-faced Desperate Housewives star Felicity Huffman. Yeah, there was some jail time involved. But these kind of cases, you're not going to be going to a supermax, okay? Or even a maximum security. You're going to be going to like a minimum security country club that has fucking tennis courts, basketball courts, volleyball courts, fucking internet, libraries. I mean, it's like a vacation. Well, okay, so instead they were hit with money laundering charges as the feds proved they're not kidding around. Right. The couple has pleaded not guilty. Morons. Laughlin's pals are also pinning the disaster on her husband. I foresee this marriage ending in divorce, unless this guy is one of the biggest soy boy losers on the fucking planet. Oh my God. You would think she would get some kind of break, right? Because she is a broad, okay? Yeah. I mean, standing alone or compared to a man, yeah, she's got a +1. She's a Wayman, but, yeah. Oh, imagine what would be happening if this was a man. Oh, and now she's trying to lay it off on her husband, though. Oh, my God. This poor guy. Poor fucking guy. Will she see the inside of a jail cell? I don't know. Maybe. Everyone feels bad for her, but not her husband. It's so funny. Their preference for females, their pro-female preference is so obvious. And they don't see it. Everyone feels bad for her, but not her husband. They think the situation was something concocted by her husband. Why does everybody think that women are more conniving and deceitful than men? I don't know why people believe it must have been right, because, men are always the bad guys, right? So stupid. Goes on to say her friends don't like him. Really? They've been married for at least 19, I see they have a 19-year-old daughter, Olivia Jade. 19, but she's not in university yet? What the hell's up with that? Probably one of these spoiled kids that took a year off. I need a break. I need a break from not studying. I couldn't be bothered to take school seriously at all, so my mommy had to fork out $500,000, and I had to pretend to be a rower. A rower! She's going to go to the school and then not row. Isn't that funny? How did she think nobody would notice this? I'm going to pay the school off to let my daughter in under the pretext of being on the rowing team, and then she'll never do any rowing. Wouldn't that be kind of obvious? Fuck. Yeah. Now you know how much she cares about your pal. Women are as loyal as their options, okay? And now she has the option between you and jail. Well, she's going to throw you under the bus. Now this guy's finding out the reality of things. You don't mean anything to her. She don't give a shit about you. Again, no matter how this ends up, I see this ending in divorce unless this guy is one of the biggest cuck wimps I've ever seen. If my wife threw me under the bus like this, I would file for divorce that day. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be stupid enough to be married, but wow, just wow.